watch and listen at riotradio.ca.
And welcome to Riot Radio. And it's Friday the 13th, and it's not just any Friday the 13th. I have the wonderful, amazing, wacky, and weird Ashley Buchholz of U.S.S. with me. What's up?
Hello, magnets.
You're all magnets now, officially.
We're all magnets.
Yeah. So, it's been like a year since you were here, and you said it felt like coming back into high school almost. At EP Taylor's, not necessarily here, because we're cooler than EP Taylor's, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, they're another department, so
I was relating to that feeling when the last bell rang in high school, and it was like a blink of an eye and 100,000 grilled cheese sandwiches later.
Well, you've done so much in a year, and like Jay isn't here because Jay's doing important things for the Junos on Saturday.
Yes,
Sunday.
Jay was having probably some type of peculiar African faux animal skin jacket tailored.
More cheetah print?
I'm sure he's onto like Swahili ocelot.
Ocelot. But not real ocelot.
No.
Okay. We were talking about veganism too. We've already discussed so much. So
I'm moving into your house now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
You're welcome. We really seem to know each other
but
now.
You can come in, and Brett, who's my boyfriend, will be like, sweet.
Yeah.
He also plays guitar. I do too. I just suck at it, but
I'm a compulsively tidy person.
Really?
Yeah, but
then
not like A-type like freak out.
OCD.
Like OCD.
Tidy. That's sort of, well, I don't know if Courtney's A-type, but Courtney is a little OCD. But we love it because she keeps the things clean.
Mm-hmm.
But now you can stay if you're clean. If you're messy, then you have to go, but you're always over my house. Which how did we get here? So last time you were here in January, before the release of Advanced Basics, and now it's like a year later, and so much has happened. Like, a lot. How do you feel about it?
How do I feel about it? Well, today I felt like I was describing to you feeling like two magnets with the same ends facing each other.
Right.
And that's all I could really focus on, was breathing through that experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I just got a little bit of sunshine into my...
I know, it's really nice out.
Googly third eye. And I'm very pleased to be here. Actually, tonight is also a very amazing anniversary. I won a big battle of the bands in high school at EP
No
Taylor's.
way. Really?
And the members of that band will be in attendance tonight. It will be our reunion.
No one tells us this beforehand.
So that's going to be fun. We have a fantastic lineup tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Very dear friends of ours.
Yeah.
And
Mickey Loves Mallory.
Mickey Loves Mallory and B Rich will be in the house.
Yeah. B Rich is coming by later.
Yeah, you'll hear from him.
He's apparently also a fan of Cypress Hill as well as you are.
Yes, we were discussing this goes back into the 90s, but there was this was kind of what started rap rock.
Yeah.
They did an album called Judgment Night, and there was a movie called Judgment Night, and they teamed up rock bands with rappers.
Mm-hmm.
So there was Sonic Youth and Cypress Hill, and they did a song called I Love You, Mary Jane, and it is epic.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out.
I love both bands and all things 90s, and would like to live in a bubble in the 90s.
Yeah, put on your Speedo and dive in.
Your Speedo. And then, like, this weekend's a really big deal for you and Jay as U.S.S. You're nominated for a Juno, which I know everyone has asked you about. But, like, to be nominated for Breakthrough Group of the Year, and then you've won awards in the past, and now after you're releasing Advanced Basic with 4 singles off one album, getting a Juno, what does that feel like?
Well, it feels like... It feels like the first time you ever had frozen yogurt.
It's pretty good.
You're like, this was here the whole time. What was I doing? There's a couple of different ways to perceive this situation. I mean, there was a Russian hockey player who was voted Rookie of the Year when he was 29.
Yeah.
because he was a rookie when he was 29 because he played in Russia the whole rest of the time.
Yeah, and you're like, that's not fair. You're not
So there's the part that's amusing that like we got on, like we kind of
to be recognized now.
yeah,
and
like
you've almost been a
7
band for,
years,
like, 10 years.
8, 9, 10, 15. No one's counting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the Junos are an interesting thing because it's all the voting is done by basically people at major labels.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, as you can see, if you've looked at the Polaris Prize
Yeah.
nominees and then you look at the Juno nominees,
Mm-hmm.
there's not a ton of overlap.
Yeah.
And we've sort of been like this funny Rodney Dangerfields of Canadian music, where we weren't like we were stuck between the Polaris Prize and the Junos.
Yeah, you're like just under the surface of like totally breaking through, and then
Yeah, so
not
it's
be
like
nominated for that.
And so yeah, I mean, me and Jason were always both really into sports, so you're always gunning for a championship, gunning for number one.
Yeah.
And music doesn't necessarily offer that service of gunning for number one because it's so subjective as to what number one is.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've achieved what you want to, though? Like, despite what like everyone else thinks, and like your fans supported this album through crowdfunding. Like, looking back now, do you feel like you made all the right decisions?
Considering that this album sent me to the psych ward, then I'm going to say yes, we've accomplished everything that I had wished to accomplish, because this album just completely ripped my nervous system and my endocrine system and every system of my body.
Was there a lot of like catharsis writing it? And
completely 100,000,000%. Kind of like those 5-hour energies where you see it's got like 2,000% of your vitamin B6.
yeah, and you're like, I don't need 2,000%.
Yeah, it was a lot of percent of that. So to answer your question in one word, you know, it's always an honor to be recognized. That's not one word, you jack A.
One sentence.
One sentence. There's going to be a lot of really talented, hardworking people there, and it'll be nice to be in their company.
Yeah.
And to you know, give each other high fives and such.
More high fives.
But I've never been nominated for a Juno before in my life, and I still woke up in the morning, you know, 50% of the time feeling totally disappointed in myself, and the other 50% of the time jumping out of bed saying yay.
Yeah. Well, it's like a balance too, right? And that's, most artists have that experience.
Oh, you mean crippling self-doubt?
Yeah, and then like everything's awesome, and then like, oh my god.
Oh, here comes that blueberry white tea. For anyone who isn't aware of Tim Hortons tea selection, they have
because Mike didn't know.
They have a breathtaking
there.
blueberry white tea.
But,
did they have it?
Yes.
Yes. Did I
blueberry
tell
tea
you
secured.
that I'm making an I Love Durham College shirt, like an I Heart?
We have those.
Do you really?
You can buy them.
Okay, I don't need to make one. Specifically the Tim
They're
Hortons.
on that. But you even said like in a quote that making this album was described as both a challenge and a blessing. Looking back now, like how like because you've had 4 singles off one album, is crowdfunded through your fans. Does that make it more valuable to you as like a challenge and a blessing because you came through so much?
It lets me know that I did an excellent amount of insightful self-cognitive behavioral therapy.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff. I've had some of that.
Yeah, and so
It's crazy.
it really lets me know that I've done some really solid work because it's just being related to so heavily, which is what being popular in music is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can either relate to a universal melody where the lyrics aren't necessarily, something that is cathartic or therapeutic, or just makes you want to buy a waterbed. But yeah, that's what that lets me know.
Mm-hmm.
That lets me know that
I love the song Shipwrecked, and I totally get that, and I relate to it 100%. And like, it's been my jam for like 2 weeks now, solid, because it's just been a rough 2 weeks. How did you come about writing that song? Because it is relatable, and so is like a lot of songs on that album. but how did you get that out?
I used to think that was actually everyone saying om, like you were just like realigning yourself with the cosmos.
We can do more yoga.
Like because it really does kind of balance things out. Shipwreck. Shipwreck needed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking about the 50% of those days waking up with that crippling self-doubt.
I'm on your team.
Yeah. And I wrote something one time that said, try to be a lighthouse instead of lost at sea. And so...
That's good advice.
Yeah, especially when you've been a person who's constantly asking for help, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to the polarity flipping and you being the person that's able to offer help.
Mm-hmm.
So Shipwreck to me is kind of that, is just before the U-turn. From being a person who's just always asking for help as opposed to becoming a person who can be offering help. And at the end of the song, this off in the distance, this gospel choir comes in, and they are the lighthouse that's off in the distance, because you've kind of, for the first time, you're headed towards safety instead of just getting thrown around by the storm of your
see out of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what that song's all about.
Sweet. Do you want to play it?
Do I want to play it?
Do you want to listen to it, or do you want to listen to Cypress Hill?
Oh, Cypress Hill and Sonic Youth.
I don't know if we have that. We just have some Cypress Hill, but we're gonna get it in the future. / if you haven't heard it, you should. Listen
You know
to
what?
It.
We should. You know what? In honor of all of the lighthouses going through puberty that are listening right now, then let's put Shipwreck on.
All right. Here's Shipwreck by U.S.S. on riotradio.ca.
Useless as a lighthouse on the moon. Deflect. Avoidance holds the lighter to the spoon. Call me when you need someone to listen to you. Call me when you're flirting with the edge. But one step is closer than none. One step is closer than none. To the sun calling, I'm surrendering to something true. Calling, 'cause I'm ready to ignite. But one step is closer than none. One step is closer than none. I'm drowning in a sea of blame. Heartbeats the microscope. Feel
Welcome back. You're watching and listening to riotradio.ca. I'm a host, Laura, and with me is Ashley Buchholz of U.S.S. And we're just getting real. Like, it's almost too real.
Did you know that craft singles are actually not that fake?
Really?
Yeah, so they're getting real. They're pretty real themselves.
That is pretty real.
No, it's true. Check it out.
I don't want to eat that.
Pff,
It just looks weird. I can't get over it. It just looks like rubber cheese. That you're like, it's fake cheese.
I'm just being real, man.
But we do love cheese. We all love cheese. We have some obsessions with cheese. We had a cheese party one day.
Did you have cheese hammocks?
No, but it's on the list.
Okay. That's when you take an
cheese
onion
hammock.
and you quarter it. And then,
If you don't remember from the last time.
Yeah.
There's instructions online.
That's on my last meal on earth as one of the snacks.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's on our YouTube page.
Cheese hammocks.
Instructions and everything. We were just talking about Shipwreck and writing the song and how you describe it as like a U-turn between where you're at and then where you have to go emotionally to get out of it.
Yeah. Well, specifically like the last millimeter before the U-turn happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you're fully cognizant of what you've done. You're fully cognizant of how much you have desired to do something different. And you're fully cognizant of what it is you want to do differently.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an amazing like tripod of self-reflection.
Yeah.
Because you're standing there and you're like, you know, you're like, should I buy another pack of smokes? And you know what you've done. You know what you want to do. And it's just this amazing place that we've all been in our own ways with so many different things.
Mm-hmm. And then do you feel like that comes from like an emotional decision where you can't consciously go there? Like you have to be ready to go there emotionally and like let go of what it is you're doing and move to the next one.
Yeah, it's going to take some action. It's going to take some letting go and then grabbing onto something else, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it might even take moving back in with your mom and your dad.
That did happen to me.
And then making you some tomato rice soup,
Ooh.
chocolate milk,
Ooh.
a lot of grilled cheese,
Toast.
eggplant parmesan lasagna.
Wow.
This is a true story.
That sounds delicious. I didn't get that when I went back home. They were just like, here's a room.
Yeah.
And then Jay isn't here, but he's doing important things for the Junos. You guys have been through so much together and now have sort of more success than you've had before, even though like you've had these great ups and then sort of like lulls and now you're back up again. Do you think this album has helped you grow together and as individuals?
I think and feel at the same time.
Which is good.
I think and feel that, see, Jason and I are like the sun and the moon, and the sun is ever present, and the moon just waxes and wanes, and it's full and it's gone.
Are you the moon?
So I'm the moon and Jay's the sun.
Sweet. I'm a moon too.
And our album was essentially just a perfect eclipse, and where we were both totally in alignment at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, even in the ways that you know, I'm not really on the internet, and Jason basically like doesn't need to eat or drink. He just feeds off the energy of other people
And the internet?
and social media.
Plugs in?
Oh yeah, like an IV, like a social media intravenous. And so it's just become more and more apparent, you know, how our song Yin Yang, you know, is basically born out of this dynamic that we seem to have that we knew right away. Where he said it, he's like, man, he's like, you're the message and I'm the messenger, and he's just like, we need each other. And it was like, yeah, you know what, we do, and I need that blueberry tea. Is it around here? No, sorry, I was just thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's gonna overwhelm the room with sensuality.
We'll trust you not to spill if you can be trusted.
It'll go on the floor.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. You can give him his tea. He's a celebrity.
Oh,
Important
thank you.
person.
Yeah.
Quality blueberry tea moments with U.S.S. So you have this sweet book, and we sort of alluded to plans for maybe a future album. Is that what we were talking about? Wrong?
Oh yeah, of course. There's always
Because it's been a year, and like fans and I'm hungry for a new one now too. Because it's so exciting.
It's already we've already started putting the ingredients in the bowl.
Ooh.
You know, we
Is
have
there a
the
cheese
bowl.
hammock?
We have the bowl. We have the whisk.
Excellent. We're making scrambled eggs.
We have a lot of ingredients sitting on the counter,
Sweet.
and we're just downloading recipes from the galactic essence of life.
The best descriptions ever. I want to be in the studio for those moments. Downloading galactic recipes. When you're like preparing to write your album, do you just take bits of stuff you wrote before, or is it stuff you wrote on the road while touring, or how are you approaching this album?
It's like the Scantron E, all of the above.
E?
Number E.
Yeah, or
E.
C is
the
not
answer
the
to your question is E.
All of the above. Is everything?
It's a healthy amount of what's that word again? Reconnoitering, kind of reconnoitering and peeking out and around at this 3D carbon existence. These experiences with thoughts and feelings and emotions, and then really, do you know where things get confusing is when people start to think of themselves as the transmission tower instead of the transmission.
Yeah. No, I totally know what you mean.
Right?
Like how songs just come to you, you don't write the song necessarily.
Yeah, so it's the way that I've always felt is that there's some type of radio station, and I'm the only one that can tune into it. Mm-hmm. And I'm the only transmission tower. Yeah. And it's up to me to do what I need to do that is different for everybody. Some people love drugs and drinking, and other people like to meditate and exercise, and some people like to do both at the same time. But there's some combination of things that will tune you in, make your transmission tower as powerful as it can be to tune in that exact frequency. And because someone was asking me about that before, they said, how do you... it was because of the Robin Thicke Blurred Lines thing with Marvin Gaye.
Oh, right.
How they got sued for making the song sounded similar. They won like $7 million.
Really?
They said, how do you avoid that from happening?
I once wrote Depeche Mode lyrics, so it's a true thing that happens. And I thought I wrote them originally, and then I found it was Depeche Mode.
But if you tap into that radio station that's only playing your frequency, then you never have to worry about plagiarism, because there's no one else that can sing that song but you.
True.
And so that's the answer.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that moment. Is that what's in the book of stuff you got there?
What, this book?
No, the other book.
Oh, this
is that
book?
Your doodle book?
This book has
of, deep thoughts and songwriting. Gems.
This idea. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about this cool thing that I'm writing about right now. It's what I learned about. It's called an egg tooth.
What's an egg tooth?
An egg tooth is how a baby bird breaks out of its shell. It grows this little tooth on the end of its beak,
really?
and that's how it gets out, right?
How'd you know I love birds?
I tuned into the radio station of
We're
your
on the same channel today.
Bird adoration. No, so the egg tooth is how the baby bird cracks out of the shell.
Right.
And I just love that idea. I love the idea of creating the intention that you're going to grow your own egg tooth. You're going to crack out of your own shell of the ways that you're just completely contained in your own way of believing how your life is, as opposed to all of the possible things that you just
evolving continuously.
Yeah. And so it's just like, grow your egg tooth. Whatever you got to do, just grow that egg tooth. And then it's amazing because it just fades. It just like falls off.
And it was never there. And now you've just evolved.
Yeah.
And you become a big bird.
Yeah.
Leave the nest.
Yeah.
Oh. What else do you got in that sweet book?
Okay, well...
Just being nosy because it's there.
Yeah.
There's no secrets
in 1602, all the cats in Japan were ordered by the government to be released by their owners because there was a mouse epidemic that was eating all the silkworm plants.
No.
So, are you a cat owner?
They do have cats.
Cat lover?
Yeah.
Imagine if the government said, open your door and let your cats out.
Just like Hollywood and Creeper can go crazy.
Everyone's got to go. They all got to go.
It's a back, though. They
cat party.
That'd be great.
No, they're going to become like primetime world-class mousers.
Cats versus dog, but cats won versus
I
mouse.
want to know. Yeah, that's all the information I got on that. I don't know what happened after.
You get all these
like
gems.
if all the cats like
came home,
climbed a mountain and started a monastery.
Maybe they moved to Egypt and that's how they worship cats.
Yeah.
Well, that's the wrong time, but
1602. There's a town there's 2 towns in the United Kingdom. One is called Sandwich, and a mile away from Sandwich is the town of Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a true fact.
Ham sandwich.
Ham sandwich.
Right there.
Cheese hammock.
I went to this place called Sky Zone.
Yeah.
It's a trampoline fun park.
Right.
And I asked my friend that I was meeting there, I said, is it dangerous? And he's like, no, it's fine. When I pulled up, there was an ambulance taking a girl out the side door.
And you're like, screw it, I'm leaving, bye.
And then the waiver form, was like...
Do not sue, not liable.
Yeah, it was like an army
register.
register. I registered for the army once.
Really? The Canadian Army?
For the Canadian Army. I wanted more discipline in my life.
They would give that to you.
I really did. And I was so close.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided that I'd rather be a huge pothead.
That's also an option. That's a common choice, actually.
Yeah, that's an extremely common choice.
To be like, responsibility or complete
But then my
blackout.
brain didn't know how to make dopamine on its own.
Oh,
So then I had to move home.
that's important.
Then I actually applied to Durham College.
Really?
I got in to take environmental technology.
No way.
Because I abandoned business and science when I was in high school because I thought they ruined the world. And then a couple years later, I realized that my left brain was totally atrophied from not stimulating it with numbers.
Yeah. I'm not a number person. I'm no good at math. I'm useless to math, like art, creative brain, math. No.
So it's always very special to come back to Durham College.
Sweet.
Because I feel like a invisible alumnus.
You could be one.
Well, because I dropped
Honorary.
out on this first day.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't even make it to the first class.
Well,
Bummer.
you
But
could
I'm
have been
back.
a volunteer here. You could have been at Riot Radio.
I'm here.
Yep. You can come back all the time. You can be an honorary Riot Radio alumni. How about that?
I love it.
That's pretty close.
Hmm. Well, I'm going to be living with you and your boyfriend now.
Yeah.
So
You can come
you
over.
just come
I'll
in
tell
to
Brett.
work. You and Brad? Is it Brad?
Brett.
Brett.
Yeah.
Howdy. Hey, Brett.
He's supposed to be here even. So you used Pledge Music for the last album. What advice would you give to new artists? Like, would you suggest doing that again or use crowdfunding to support an album?
Yeah, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Are you going to do it for the new album?
that's a fun medium. We haven't even
Not there yet.
talked about that yet. There's a good likelihood. I mean, it's pretty neat to have such enthusiastic, passionate shareholders,
Yeah.
in your
It's
company.
way better than the alternative.
Yeah. Go for it.
But
just don't, just keep your expectations realistic.
yeah, because you like broke your record, your pledge amount that you set, right?
Yeah. And I mean, keep in mind, that was years and years and years and years of what word do I want to use? Annibalism.
Cannibalism.
Yeah.
Words.
Yes.
What other stuff? You got more stuff in there you want to talk about?
Yeah. Let's talk about,
And you also have a fun book that you brought.
let's talk about jellyfish exorcisms.
What?
Yes.
How do you exercise a jellyfish? Or exorcism?
Well,
Exorcism?
there's this funny thing that we all have, which is this feeling in our chest, right here, right in the
Yeah.
middle here.
The sternum.
Wakes us up in the morning, it pops up, here and there. It's also called anxiety,
Got that.
and it's this elusively hilarious thing. And so one time I was describing how I experience anxiety, and I was describing it as like having a jellyfish wrapped around your heart, and every time your heart beat, it would sting you.
Yeah.
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 So I felt like that was a fairly adequate description of that sensation that
I know what you mean because I've experienced it.
Yeah.
You're just like, "Bah."
So I, it dawned on me that I was like, you know what I need? I need a jellyfish exorcism. And
for the jellyfish over your heart.
yeah, for the jellyfish,
for real jellyfish.
that's been wrapped around my heart, and so that sort of became an intention. What can I do? What can I do to put on my little priest collar and exorcise this jellyfish?
Where does like your anxiety stem from? Because like as a performing artist, like when you're on stage, like you even described during the break that like listening to your own music, it's not like listening to you. It's separate from you as regular Ashley.
Yeah, that's not me. I don't know who that is.
It's Ashley Buchholz on
But I
stage.
will say that if you want to do something interesting, ask your mom. Ask your mom what she was like when she was pregnant with you, because I did this really intense meditation once, and that's a part of the jellyfish exorcism.
Sweet.
Along this path is that I've learned that meditation is like peeing on your heart, peeing on
To get rid of the jellyfish sting.
like peeing on your own heart. Yeah,
It's so
heard me.
metal, I can't even explain.
Okay. So I did this intensive meditation, and what popped into my mind, during this meditation was this image of my mom being really anxious, and I saw myself as a baby. Basically, like, so amniotic fluid, everything your mom breathes and drinks and eats, that's just all going right into you.
Yeah.
Everything she feels, you feel.
Yeah, you're an extension.
If your mother is very anxious when she's pregnant with you, all that cortisol goes into you. You are basically just floating in this pool of
Too much cortisol.
And there's cellular memory, and there's all this stuff. So anyways, I had a suspicion based on this meditation, and then I said, Mom, what was it? What were you going through when you were pregnant? She said, I was actually, I was really anxious. Things were really kind of rough between me and your dad. We were having a lot of trouble financially, and I was pretty stressed out. So, there are things that are kind of going on in your daily life, and then there's also maybe some other factors that are a little bit beyond your own kind of, like, I got a test coming up and I'm a little bit nervous. So, it just takes a little bit more work.
Have you used a lot of meditation and like yoga and stuff to get through all this?
The answer is yes.
Yeah. What advice would you give to people who maybe like need help with that, besides like catharsis through music, which is, we've agreed, is awesome?
Well, I'll tell you this. I spent a good chunk of my life trying to exercise that jellyfish, trying to weed out those anxious feelings from the outside in a lot of different ways. And so I realized that I need to try something that goes from the inside out.
Yeah.
And that's where when I kind of asked the universe that, I said, you know what? Every time I try to fix these things from the outside in, I wind up moving back in with my parents.
Your safe place. Go back to your safe place.
Yeah. And I'm talking about drugs, people.
They don't fix anything.
Well, no, it just was the same, that definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like, this seems like a great way to solve this problem. And I think I'm just having fun and just being wild and crazy, but it's just like, meanwhile, lurking under the surface.
It's just self-destructive or like.
So yeah, that's where, universe, I'm a little bit sick and tired of this cycle.
Yeah.
There's got to be something else. What else is there?
Do you feel like you've made so much progress now?
Yeah, absolutely.
You even seem different from when you were last time you were here, even.
Yeah, I mean, it's been about 2.25 years since I really. We were starting advanced basics when I flipped the script.
Yeah.
So to speak. Again, I've done this about 10 times in my life so far. I mean, you can do it. It's fun, but
yeah,
it's not fun, but it's fun. But
it's hard to make those things stick, right?
Yeah. So I just decided that I say radiant living.
Ooh.
I decided to really give radiant living a chance because I just seem to be just so addicted to what I consider to be fun and just being disruptive and restless. And more than anything, I just barely called my mom.
Really?
Like, ever. What a jerk.
My mom's gonna be like, see, you should have talked to me now.
Well, now I call my mom. Now I call my mom constantly. Mom, you need help. Mom, you need help. Mom, you need help. Remember I was talking about being a person that's always like, help me.
Yeah.
Everybody help me. What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Like, don't you just get sick of asking yourself, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Why aren't I good enough for anything, for anyone?
And now you feel like, no, it's fine. That's me, and I'm good. And
I'm wearing a Freddy Krueger sweater.
you are. It's a sweet sweater. It's a freaking Freddy Krueger of awesomeness. Anyway, so we love having you play here, and I know you love getting up close with your fans. What are you most looking forward to tonight, besides having your sweet reunion that we didn't know about till now?
Sweet reunion. What am I looking forward to? We have been since we got off tour with Mother.
Mm-hmm.
We've been at home. I've been living radiantly at home.
Yeah.
And keeping my transmission tower squeaky clean.
Mm-hmm.
And the
ready to receive.
Yeah, and the transmissions have been coming in loud and clear.
Awesome.
And what I'm essentially saying is that I'm so excited to play these songs tonight because we haven't done too many performances in the last couple of months.
Sweet.
And I'm just excited to howl and holler.
Awesome. We're in for a treat then. Before you go, because I know you've got to go soon, want to play Would You Rather U.S.S. style? Would you rather? The game where the options are either terrible or one may be slightly better than the other.
Okay, so what are the options?
Number 1, would you rather have blue cheese or old age cheddar? This is from the cheese department of Riot Radio.
Well, this is from the cheese department. How does an aspiring vegan answer that question?
You could have vegan blue cheese or vegan old age cheddar. They do make it.
Okay. Oh,
it's out of like almond.
I'm gonna go with
cashew
geriatric
cheese.
cheddar.
Geriatric cheddar it is. Sweet. Yeah, because cheddar's better than blue cheese. Blue cheese can be like too much. Would you rather have only to wear onesies or tuxedos? No other options, just onesies or tuxedos.
I'm gonna go with tuxedos because where I went to high school, we had to wear uniforms.
Oh, really?
And I loved it.
Really?
I loved it.
As a creative free bird, you loved it even still.
Oh, well, see, because my mind is just this like cyclone of restless hysteria.
Yeah.
And so I like discipline in daily living.
So you just like wear this outfit, I'm good, I can do other things.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
That's awesome.
So tuxedo.
Sweet. Would you rather be shipwrecked or face a zombie apocalypse?
I'm going to go with Shipwrecked because...
you could write more sea shanties.
Well, the great albatross in its wings,
Yeah.
when it gets into flight, it like clicks its wings and its wing bones lock.
Mm-hmm.
And so an albatross can glide for like 2 months in a row.
Yeah. I love albatross.
So if you were shipwrecked, you'd be able to watch that like live and direct.
It's true, because then you went to fight off zombies.
The other thing is we're wondering about is it's like, why don't zombies just eat each other's brains?
I don't know.
Or eat their own brain?
That's a good question.
They should eat their own brain.
Maybe there's nothing left. Maybe they don't taste as good. Has to be fresh.
I
always
think they're
gotta be
just
fresh.
picky.
Maybe. They're pretentious zombies. Would you rather be Kurt Cobain alive in like 1992 or Dave Grohl now?
I'm gonna go with Dave Grohl now because he's basically I think he's probably like the closest thing to the manifestation of God as exists on planet
He's
Earth.
become a pretty good rock god.
Oh yeah.
Would you ever like work with Dave Grohl if like you could?
You know what? I have this one song that
Is written for Dave Grohl.
it was accidentally sent to me. Like the galactic radio station
You got Dave Grohl's transmission.
accidentally sent it over to me. So I play air drums to it all the time.
Sweet. Would he play drums for you or guitar?
He played drums.
What would you play?
Big time.
Just guitar?
You ever heard the song Aneurysm?
Yeah. We actually have some of that coming up for you.
Yeah, so that, yeah.
Anyway, any last words before you leave us? Do you want to break out your other sweet book that you brought?
Oh, okay.
before
Yeah,
you go?
let's somebody just yell out a number between 1 and 325. 32. All right.
Because it's a book about fun facts.
Fun facts. Let's see what we got on page 32. 95% of all avocados on sale today are descended from one tree grown by a Milwaukee postman in 1926.
What?
So thank you, avocados. One time I had this thing called a dinosaur egg.
Yeah.
And
like
I had
the candy?
Oh no.
No.
A dinosaur egg is at a sushi restaurant in upstate New York.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen this anywhere else. They cut an avocado in half, they skinned it, and then they put mango and crab meat in the middle. Then they closed it, and then they put tempura batter on it, and then they deep fried it. And then they put that like rosé sauce on top. It was called a dinosaur egg.
What, we need that everywhere now.
We need that at Tim Hortons.
Why did you put it on the rider?
You got white blueberry tea and dinosaur eggs.
Yeah, better get one, Rick. All right. Well, thank you for coming in and sharing so much with us. Excited to see your show tonight and your reunion and all the nonsense. And it's going to be extra special because it's Friday the 13th. Yeah. Is that why you wore the Freddy Krueger sweater?
Yeah, we put Jason on the guest list.
All right.
We'll see. We're going to do a back-to-back DJ set.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You should. There's some dubstep Freddy Krueger nonsense out there.
Yes.
It exists.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, everybody in the room, for your contribution.
Yeah.
And thank you, Durham College, for always being so enthusiastic and just lively. And we love coming here.
Right. And now you're official Riot Radio alumni.
Yes.
Right. So thanks for watching. This is riotradio.ca, and here's, I don't know what's on up next. What'd you put over there? Nirvana for Ashley Buchholz on riotradio.ca.
One baby, two, another says I'm lucky to meet you. I'm done.